If you're passionate about exploring new destinations and making the most of your journeys, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the Chase Sapphire credit card. This will unlock a lot of great travel perks. I want to point out that if you are not very good at paying off your credit cards at the end of every month, travel hacking your credit card is probably not the best idea. In 2019, I made the decision that I was going to start doing at least one or two big international trips a year. And of course, COVID hit in 2020, but I opened a Chase Sapphire Preferred card. And I had heard about this card with its travel benefits. It's $95 a year. You get a $50 hotel credit that comes off whatever hotel you book. So really it's a $45 card a year. And this just seemed to me a good option for a first-time credit card specifically for travel. So everything I'm going to mention today is about travel credit cards. It's about using these particular cards specifically for travel. That doesn't mean that you cannot use them for other things. That's just my focus. And I know that certain cards are maybe better with cash back. And the Chase card specifically was the one I chose. And I had read a lot about how it was a great first-time credit card to kind of get travel rewards points. And there's a whole other level to travel hacking credit cards that I am not at yet. I'm doing a little bit of research, and I just wanted to share my experience of how I got some free flights, and also in the upcoming weeks and months as I prepare for my 2024 trips, of how I'm going to be using some of these methods to gain points and miles and things like that. The travel credit card hacking game has a lot of different levels. There's beginner level, there's an intermediate, and obviously kind of more of an expert level. And I am definitely in the early stages. Even though I had that card in 2019, I find that I didn't really use it to the extent that I kind of am getting a sense now of doing a little more research that I could have been using it. And even with that said, simply getting the Chase Sapphire Preferred card allowed me to open up a lot of opportunities. You know, why are people doing this? Well, you get great sign-up bonuses. You get, many points and miles that you can use within a travel portal or with hotels and airlines. There's a lot of elite status and lounge access at airports, good travel insurance. There's just a lot of benefits, especially for travel. So that'll be my focus is why did I get the Chase Sapphire Preferred and what benefits did I get from it and how did I use it? And the other thing is I just recently upgraded to the Sapphire Reserve card and why I did that. So why did I choose the Chase Sapphire card? Well, it had a generous sign-up bonus. So it was 60,000 points. I had 3 months and I had to spend $4,000. And I did this by booking a trip to Asia in 2019. And so I knew I was going to be spending a lot of money. So this was not very difficult to do. I also liked that Chase had a very flexible program. You could not only get cash back, you could get 1.5 times the points on a lot of Apple purchases. You could use it to go into the Chase portal and specifically book all of your stuff through their travel portal, which I really liked. And in fact, you got 1.25 per point instead of 1 point at a time. So it actually enhanced your points. You could transfer it to certain airlines, United being a specific one, even to hotels. So there was just a lot of options. And I liked that I wasn't stuck, especially since I didn't really know what I was doing. And to be honest, I'm still very new to this. It gave me a lot of options. I did like that once I got the points, it was a card that had some multipliers. So anytime I had dinner or go to a bar or anything like that, I get 3 times the points. If I book any travel with it, I get 2 times the points. If I book within their portal, I get sometimes 5 times the points. And so there was a lot of other ways to make money. The downside was all other purchases were only 1 times. And and again, I was new to this, so this didn't really matter to me. I had 60,000 points after those 3 months, which in an effective sense, it was $600 to $800 worth of points. Plus I was building up, and I didn't really use them early on. To be honest, I booked all those flights and things thinking in 2020 I was going to use them. In fact, I used them for a South Korea trip That never happened because COVID hit. So I spent the next 3 years really building up a lot of these points. And so I just used the card for everything. I do like a lot of the travel benefits that come with it. If you book a trip with this card, you have cancellation insurance, trip interruption insurance, rental car insurance. There's just a lot of perks that come with it that you don't have to worry about when you book a trip. And in fact, when COVID hit, because I booked the hotels and the airlines through my portal, I called Chase. I got reimbursed every single one of my points. And I know that was happening with a lot of things during COVID, but it was just a nice peace of mind. And I've not really done this. I've used the portal a lot, as I'll talk about later. But you can transfer these to a lot of different partners. And Chase, maybe not quite as much as Amex. I've noticed Amex seems to be the premium card. But the Preferred for $95 a year gets you a lot of these benefits, and you have a lot of ways to transfer your points. As I'm getting into this, I realize using the travel portal is not the best way to redeem the points. Meaning, at bare minimum, I'm gathering, you want to use your points at a one-to-one basis. So you don't ever want to be taking a point and getting, 0.8 for it. You want to get 1 cent per point. So 10,000 points is $100, 20,000 points is $200. But if you go on the travel portal, I was getting 1.25. So whatever that would actually turn out to be, the 10,000 was worth, 10,000 points was really $125. But I was getting more. Now, as I'm getting more into this and watching some websites or reading some websites and watching some YouTube videos and podcasts, I'm realizing that there's a lot of options in finding good deals to transfer, say, to United at 2 and 3 times the points. So now all of a sudden, my 10,000 points is really worth $300 and things like that. And I didn't know any of that, to be honest. And I would still say that I like the option of the travel portal. I like the idea that my points are worth more, and it's very easy to book, but you're not booking directly, you're not booking through the hotel, so it's a third-party situation. But it has worked. I booked 2 round-trip tickets to Spain, one on United, I think both on United actually, through the portal. And they were all paid for with points. And then this last year I booked my trip to Japan. I used points and cash. That's another nice thing with the portal. You can literally use your points, and then what's left over, you just use cash. And I booked about 3/4 of my trip to Tokyo and back. So I had to pay maybe like $500 out of $1,500. And so that was also nice just to use that portal. This isn't why I got the car, but as I use it, my experience with customer service has been good. I haven't read great things, but I have to say the 2 or 3 times I've dealt with them, they've been great. I do know that I read that this comes with a thing called the Visa Signature Benefits, like concierge service things. I've used none of that. I have no idea if it's valuable or not, in all honesty. It sounds really good, as does the metal card design. It is a great card. It's the first credit card I've ever had. I'm a teacher. I don't usually live a life of luxury, but it's the first credit card I've ever had that I thought, man, this thing feels like a premium card. It's like metal. It's heavy. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So then the next question is, why did I upgrade? Now, again, I think if people that have moved on to other cards like Amex Platinum and things like that, I think the Preferred, they probably go back to the Preferred because they don't need the Reserve card because they've got other premium cards. Well, first of all, the cost of the Reserve card is way more. And that was my hesitation. So I did not upgrade to this until this year. Now, once COVID restrictions are slowly being lifted, in the last 2 years, I've been to Spain twice, Japan twice, California a couple times, Texas. Airport lounge access was something I kind of really was looking to, and that was my biggest draw. Now, that wasn't going to justify the cost, because the cost goes from a $95 card, which, as I said, you can get it down to $45 with the hotel credit. It is now, you're going to be paying $550 for the Sapphire Reserve. Now, that's a big jump. So I had to justify it. I had to figure out ways. If this was a $200 card, maybe. But $550 was ridiculous in my mind, and I didn't need it. And then I realized, as I dug into it, that the first thing that happens with this $550 card is they give you a $300 travel credit for your first $300 you spend. Doesn't have to be through their portal. You book 3 nights in a hotel at $100 a night, they just give you the credit back. As long as you're traveling you're going to spend $300. Now, if you're not a travel person, first of all, this video isn't even for you. There's probably way better options than this. But for me, that brought the card down to $250. And so now I'm looking at a $250 kind of premium travel card. Now, I would like it to be a little less, so I started looking into some of the more benefits. And again, the $300 was guaranteed. Well, you get a thing called Priority Pass, and Priority Pass is basically airport lounge access. Amex has this. You can buy the Priority Pass, but their Priority Pass is really good on Reserve. And what I mean is, they're not giving you limited stays. This is at least, again, I don't know if I'd pay this. This is at least a $200 to $300 card, because you get unlimited access at every airport lounge that is on Priority Pass. Now, that's not every airport. I went to Narita Airport. They don't have a Priority Pass place there. They do it, Haneda. Narita, they do. Haneda, they don't. But they had them in Dallas. They have one in Cincinnati, near where I live. And so you have a lot of access, and it's unlimited, and you can get a guest, or I think up to 2 guests. I took one of my buddies in. They don't even question it. It's pretty much, it's free food, it's free drinks, it's coffee, it's all those things, and convenience. And in my trips this summer when I used it, I went to Japan and back, and I was in DC at one point, I was in Dallas, I was in California and Cincinnati. I probably used it 6 times. And I spent $0 in food. And normally when I'm at airports, especially long layovers, I end up spending a lot of money. And so it just saved me money to be able to have access to these lounges and get free food and drinks and relax, charge my phone. One of them had a shower. I didn't use it. They had shower facilities, free alcoholic beverages. They also, though, in some of the airports have restaurants that accept Priority Pass, and you get like $28 off a meal. I only did this once. And I went into the restaurant, I got, $40 meal. It's not cheap, obviously it's airport, but I got $20 off, $28 off. So that, in my mind, so now my $250 credit card, that's $100 value to me minimum. I will save $100, take away the convenience. If next year I'm going to South Korea, I'm going to Croatia for a month, or all over Europe, and probably another trip in the winter, I'm going to be at least at 10 to 12 airports. I guarantee I'll get $100 value. It'll save me, if nothing else, just in Starbucks coffees. I'll save it. So now I'm looking at that credit card going, that's a $150 credit card. Now to me, it's completely worth it. I based upon those 2 things, I just booked the credit card. I used it on my Japan trip. I used it on my Dallas and California trip this summer. And I'll use it again upcoming. And the lounge access and the $300 credit, completely worth it to me. So it's a $150 credit card. There are other ways to save money I've discovered recently, because I kind of looked into it a little more, and you get things like, 2-year Lyft membership, 15% off Lyft rides. I don't use Lyft that often, but if I do, it's there. An Instacart Plus membership for a year. That's like $100 a year. I just used it to get some food delivered from Costco. They give you a $15 credit a month. So if you use Instacart, I don't know, 12 times once every month over the next year, which I will for Kroger, for Costco, that's $180 savings. And with that, they give you Grubhub Plus. So, and DoorDash. I got DoorDash for a year, and I get $5 off. That's $60 value from DoorDash. So if you use the perks, all of a sudden that card doesn't feel like something that you can't get, that you don't have access to. So I think for me right now, the Chase Sapphire Reserved upgrading, you cannot have both cards. You can only have one of the cards. Upgrading from the Preferred to the Reserved is perfect for me right now. If I end up in a year or so getting another premium card, I might downgrade it back to the $95 card. But that $95 card will be the bare minimum I go, because that is completely worth it. The other thing that I want to point out is that the Chase Sapphire portal, this Ultimate Rewards portal, you have to have one of the premium cards. You either have to have the Ink Business Preferred, the Sapphire Preferred, or the Sapphire Reserve, but you only need one of them. And once you get one of them, you can have other Chase cards that feed into that Ultimate Rewards system. And that is where I'm headed next. In fact, I just did it, and so I'll talk about it in the next video. It's called the Chase Trifecta. Not everybody loves it, but I think at this point, since I'm all into the Chase portal, adding a couple of other Chase cards and figuring out ways to get more bonus points, but also figuring out ways to maximize the multipliers. So can I get 5 times on something or 4 times instead of 3?